The sun is setting. It's a beautiful evening. And I wanted to come on here and talk about another thing that comes up in a lot of my meetings with clients. So we all know that this journey can be frustrating. It can feel so long and so hard. It can feel like it's just taking forever. And, we also know that some people have, let's say, a quicker healing journey in that maybe it'll take them a little less time to heal versus others where, like myself, where it took me a few years to get to a place where I felt like I was living my abundant life again. So this is something I want to make clear. When it comes to this work that we're doing, especially when it comes to rewiring these trauma patterns, these protective coping mechanisms, especially when it comes to, breaking free of these survival patterns, slow and steady is key. I'm going to repeat that. Slow and steady is key. Especially when we're doing any of the trauma work, right? We're not looking for these big, massive releases, these epic expressions of emotion. We're looking for small and steady, little bits at a time. Same with the work. When you're showing up and you're doing your practice, you're dedicating to neuroplasticity, to rewiring your brain, to changing these unhealthy coping mechanisms and toxic behaviors, to choosing differently, all of that, slow and steady is key. We can't go into our lives and make all of these changes immediately and expect our nervous systems to adapt immediately. It just doesn't work like that. Also, we can't expect to heal all of our trauma in a short amount of time. It doesn't work like that. We are slowly building capacity. We're slowly planting seeds and, watering them, and we're completely transforming. And that takes time. So I always like to bring in the example of, let's say, a weight loss journey. So someone who is really determined to lose a certain amount of weight and get healthy. We have two ways of doing this. We have those of us who will go on these extreme crash diets, these extreme exercise protocols where it's like they will lose a ton of weight and really fast. And then you have the other side of this where someone will start to slowly implement changes, slowly choose differently, start incorporating exercise and movement, and maybe they're only losing a pound a week, or maybe it's a pound every couple weeks, but those people are more likely to have lasting changes because they're focusing on lifestyle. They're focusing on completely changing their lives. Instead of saying, I just need to lose these 15 pounds and I'm going to do it in any way I can, and then I'm going back to my old ways. That's where the problem lies. So I've been doing this for a long time now. I've been working with people in this community for 4 years, let's say, give or take 4 years. And I've come across a lot of amazing people. And I've also come across certain self-healers, people who are on this journey of regulation, who, let's say, did a program and really rushed through it, did their best to implement what they could initially, and they healed. They saw results. They, got rid of symptoms. And then they went back to living that same life, those same patterns, right? The same ones that got them sick in the first place. And then they revert back to old neurology, and they haven't been sticking to it long enough to really have that foundation, those ingrained new pathways, the new way of life, this new lifestyle, that's not set in yet. And so they revert back to old neurology and find themselves in this, dip that seems never ending. And then they kind of show up at my door, and then we start to work on lasting changes, ways that we can weave in pockets of regulation into our life and make it a lifestyle instead of rushing to get through, this work, right? And that's where I see the most transformation. So if you're one of those who it's taking longer, but you're still showing up every day, I want you to be excited about something. I want you to recognize that because you've been doing this work for so long, because you've continued to show up, you are going to have lasting change. You're going to have such transformation. You are literally changing in every aspect of your life: mind, body, spirit, lifestyle. Your life is changing. And although I know it takes time and it can feel slow and never ending and it can feel daunting and frustrated, I get it. But I am telling you, because I've lived it and because I see it time and time again, don't compare yourself to those who, have kind of rushed through something and healed and, said that they've healed in certain, 3-6 months, whatever it might be. Great for them. That's awesome. But I want you to see that you have been on this journey for a while, and the changes that are taking place within you are way more ingrained and solid, and you're going to have such a strong foundation for whatever comes next in your life. And then this is not to hate on those who've had a quicker recovery. This is just saying that for many of us, and it does take time, it does take dedication and consistency and continuously showing up in order to transform and change. And that change is slow. And it's supposed to be slow. It takes time for the mind-body system to process and make sense of all this, for the recalibration to take place. And yeah, I mean, let's ask this question. Who would you consider yourself to be when it comes to this work? Are you, let's bring the example of the people who are on a diet. Are you like that crash diet type person who will, desperately seek and do these things to just see that result immediately? Or are you the type to say, I really want to make healthy choices. I really want to change my life. And I want this change to be lasting. I don't want to go back to that old pattern. I don't want to go back to that old me. Which one are you when it comes to your healing? So just something to kind of think about and process here with me. But I hope that this was comforting to you in some way. I know that there's many of us who can get discouraged on this journey, and I'm just here to let you know, if it's taking long, the changes are going to be lasting, and your transformation is going to be well worth the wait. I promise.